Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. So today is the other Wednesday, or the second Wednesday of the month, or however you guys want to look at it, which makes it Hidden Figures Day. Today's hidden figure is Paula Kelly, who was suggested by a subscriber. But before I get into this, hidden figures, I want to talk really briefly about this Jemele Hill situation. So Jemele Hill was suspended by ESPN for 2 weeks for tweets that she made about the Cowboys football team and also Jerry Jones, who's their owner. Jerry Jones made statements saying that he would not be starting any players that kneeled or did not stand for the national anthem. Any players that protested the national anthem, he said they would not be playing. So there was immediately a backlash against that statement, saying basically what we've been talking about. This is fucking, and if you Google Jerry Jones, this man literally looks like if you looked up racism, white supremacy in the dictionary, it would be like a picture of this man's face. It's like an old ass white man with white hair and age spots, and literally looking like he wants to crack the whip on the backs of his motherfucking slaves, aka his black players. But anyways, so he said, if you protest during the anthem, you're not going to play. There was immediately backlash against this. People were saying they're allowed to have an opinion. One of the players, what's his name? I think I have it up. What's his name? Orlando Scandrick. He said he did no comment when asked about it, but he pointed to his pink cleats because it's breast cancer awareness right now, to show we are able to support causes. We're able to support causes that massa thinks is fine. Everybody has decided that breast cancer is even though we could get into the whole Susan G. Komen and the pink shit and the pink ribbon shit and how in a lot of ways that shit is a fucking scam and they're not even really working in breast cancer, but that's not what this video is about. So they're saying we're allowed to protest shit that massa thinks is fine, but we're not allowed to protest the flag. We're not allowed, to protest. I'm sorry. I'm totally gonna people have also been saying a lot about oh, we're getting off topic. Now we're talking about the flag and the this and the that, and that's not what we're talking about. That is also part of what we're talking about, because protesting during the national anthem and protesting the flag was the whole point of why Kaepernick even started doing that in particular, was to say I cannot, in good conscience, pledge my allegiance to a country that kills its black citizens. So that is because people are that's not even what the point of what we're doing, and that has nothing to do with police brutality. The whole point is supposed to be living in a country that does not give a fuck about its black citizens, and it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And now, even as we see the way that the NFL and the sports and the owners and the GMs and the fans are even reacting to the players, they're just proving Colin Kaepernick's point even more, and proving the point of the players even more, that we live in a country that doesn't give a fuck about black people, but we're expected to pledge allegiance to the country, and how it doesn't make any sense. But anyways, Jemele Hill tweeted, if you guys don't like Jerry Jones's statement, and if you don't don't support the Cowboys, or boycott, don't support them, don't support their advertisers. You guys know we worship the almighty free market in this country. We motherfucking worship capitalism. We worship money above all else. So ESPN was oh, no, bitch. You're not going against the money. You're not going against the capitalism. In addition to fucking speaking out against anti-black racism, no, bitch, suspension, 2 weeks. In my last video where I talked about Jemele Hill, I said from then that she shouldn't have, because she apologized already once before. I was she shouldn't have apologized. She shouldn't have said nothing except I resign. Now here we are with strike 2. She has been suspended for 2 weeks. They're looking to make an example out of her. One more strike, she's out. At this point, she either has to resign, or she's going to get fired, or she has to shut the fuck up. Just like I said in my There Is No Resolution video, we have reached the point of no return. We have reached peak, whatever you want to call it. There is no resolving these issues. We do live in a country and in a motherfucking world, a global society of racism, white supremacy that was just based and built on cognitive dissonance and on these opposing ideas that for the last 150 years, black people have basically been turning the other cheek to most of the way that this shit impacts us. But now we're speaking up about it. Somebody put on Twitter black people finally started speaking up, and America basically descended into chaos, because the whole crux of this society has rested on us just turning the other cheek and just like taking all this shit and not speaking up. But now we're speaking up, and there just really is no resolution. This Jamel Hill thing, this ESPN thing, this football thing, this NFL thing, it's just like a little microcosm. It's like a perfect micro example of what's happening on a macro level in terms of there is no resolution, there is no middle ground, there is no, I can't even think of the word because I compromise, because I don't do that shit. There is no compromise. Like, what could the resolution be? You have racist white owners, racist white GMs, racist white fans that want to ignore racism, that don't feel comfortable with black players speaking out, that don't feel comfortable with black people saying we don't want to pledge allegiance to a country that doesn't give a fuck about us. And then you have black fans, you have black players that say, well, you can't force me to do this because I am black and I do live in a country that doesn't give a fuck about me. There is no middle ground. There is no resolution. So just, this is the way that it is. Watch this shit play out. This is the way that it is. That's all I have to say about that. If you have not seen my former video on this situation, which is called There Is No Resolution, I will put a link in the description box, and it should also be popping up as always. Anyways, let's get into this hidden figures. Paula Kelly. Paula Kelly, born October 21st, 1943, Libra season, we're in Libra season right now, is a dancer and actress in films, television, and theater. Kelly made her Broadway debut as Mrs. Veloz in the 1964 musical Something More, sharing the stage with Barbara Cook. Her other Broadway credits include The Dozens in 1969, Paul Still's Story Theater in 1971, Ovid, y'all know I don't know how to pronounce anything, Metamorphosis in 1971, and Duke Ellington's Sophisticated Ladies in 1981 with Gregory Hines and Phyllis Hyman. Born in Jacksonville, Florida, the daughter of a jazz musician, Kelly was raised in New York City's Harlem, where she attended the Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Art, majoring in music. Now, I did musical theater. I did do Fiorello, so just pause me for a second because I have to go. Name's LaGuardia. LaGuardia. Okay. She continued her studies at the Juilliard School of Music, majoring in dance under Martha Hill. Graduating with an MS degree, she performed as a soloist with major modern dance companies such as Martha Graham, Donald McKayle, and Alvin Ailey. Kelly made her Broadway debut as Mrs. Veloz in the 1964 musical Something More, sharing the stage with Barbara Cook, and in 1969, Kelly posed for the August issue of Playboy magazine in full frontal, though shadowed dance posture and in a stop-motion nude dance sequence. Kelly was the first woman ever to be pictured in a full frontal nude pose in a magazine, and I also read that she was the first woman to have her pubic hair appear in a magazine, which I just think is cool and awesome because adult women have pubic hair. Sorry, I have to be the one to tell you. After Broadway, movies came to Paula Kelly. The Bob Fosse directed film Sweet Charity, sci-fi cult classic Soylent Green, the political masterpiece The Spook Who Sat by the Door, and for any of y'all that have not seen The Spook Who Sat by the Door, y'all need to watch that shit. My mother showed me that movie as a child. I've seen it several times. Watch that shit. The Andromeda Strain, Uptown Saturday Night, JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, Drop Squad, and Once Upon a Time When We Were Colored, among many others. Kelly also performed as a guest artist and sometimes assistant choreographer for numerous television musical specials, including Sammy and Friends, starring Sammy Davis Jr. She was also the co-choreographer of the BBC production of Peter Pan, in which she performed the role of Tiger Lily in 1976. I also want to say, so we had a black woman choreographing and playing Tiger Lily in production of Peter Pan, which came on TV in 1976, and y'all have the nerve and the audacity to give us whitewashed ass Rooney Mara as Peter Pan in the 99s and the 2000s. The audacity, the caucasity. She was also in Quincy Jones's TV tribute to Duke Ellington, We Love You Madly, The Richard Pryor Show, and Gene Kelly's New York, New York, in which the two Kellys performed a duet. She was also the assistant choreographer. She had a recurring role as Liz Williams on the first season of the sitcom Night Court in 1984, for which she received an Emmy nomination. Kelly has also guest starred in a variety of television movies and sitcoms in the 80s and 90s, including Sanford and Son, Kojak, Policewoman, Golden Girls, Good Times, Any Day Now, which I used to watch with my grandma. When I was doing my research on this lady, I'm like, Any Day Now. I'm like, why does this sounds so familiar. And I go look it up. It's a show that used to come on Lifetime. And the theme song was like, Any Day Now. I was like, oh my gosh, I used to watch this show with my grandma. It was a really good show. And in the groundbreaking Oprah Winfrey produced The Women of Brewster Place, based on the novel by Gloria Naylor, in which she portrayed one half of a lesbian couple struggling against homophobia in an inner city ghetto. She was nominated for a second Emmy for her role in The Women of Brewster Place in 1989. Kelly performed a dance solo at the Academy Awards for the nominated song Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. She appeared on the London stage in Sweet Charity opposite dancer and actress Juliet Prowse as Helen, for which Kelly won the London Variety Award for Best Supporting Actress. She also starred in the record-breaking West Coast premiere of Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope at the Mark Taper Forum, for which she was awarded the Los Angeles Drama Critics Circle Award, Variety Award, and the first of 3 NAACP Image Awards. Her last television credit was on the Lifetime show Any Day Now in 1999, and she is currently 74 and residing in Los Angeles. Paula Kelly, a hidden figure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I love that you guys have so many suggestions for hidden figures. You guys know about like so many amazing Black women. So thank you guys so much for continuing to make suggestions. Hello to all my new subscribers. For anybody new, yes, Hidden Figures is a series that we do here highlighting Black women every other Wednesday. Please check it out. I have a playlist. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace!